Hi, it's Tara. I want to talk about decision making, when you need to make big decisions in your life and making sure that you're doing that from a whole brained approach. And what I mean by that is not just operating from your default, not the most comfortable place where you live and make decisions in your regular life, and particularly with big decisions, that you're taking the time to incorporate all of your brain, your whole brain approach, and your nervous system, and making the best decisions for moving forward in your goals, even big ones, that feel right for you, that are really aligned and coming from a grounded place. And it sounds really easy to say, but we really get caught up in our own heads and battling what feels right versus what looks right on paper, or what's logical versus what's a good fit emotionally. And what a lot of that does is really discount the power of the gut. It's more than just intuition. It's more than just this sense of gut instinct. It's about aligning all the areas of your brain, all the decision-making influences of your brain into one solid decision. And you'll know when that decision comes to you because it will feel right on every single level, but you need to address it on every single level so that you get an understanding of where that's coming from. And then you can move forward into even some of the biggest changes of your life with a great deal more confidence. And so here's where most people get stuck. And most people get stuck in the logic part of their brain. Where, especially in business, where you're thinking, what looks right on paper? What's the black and white of this? Let's do the pros and the cons. These are the list makers. These are the people where everything needs to make sense. It has to be logical. The problem with logic is that it's not always right for you. It's not always the right direction, and it's often a really safe place to live. And so you end up maybe making incremental gains into where you want to move into your life, but you're not making bigger, more radical, bolder decisions when you're just operating from a place of logic, because often those things that you're really passionate about, those are illogical. And so they need to be weighed and measured against logic. Things need to make sense, and they need to make sense most importantly to you. But everything on paper is not always going to be the right thing. It's going to be the logical thing. But again, that's really the top upper part of your brain. It's not the whole thing. It's operating from one place. So people that make decisions only from that part of their thinking brain often feel a sense of disconnect with how they feel emotionally, or that decision causes them a lot of emotional distress because there's something that's not quite meshing right. So that leads us to the second area of the brain, the limbic system, the emotional brain. This is the other place that people fall into these pitfalls and make bad reactive decisions, because the emotional brain is really so temporary. Your thinking brain can tell your emotional brain where to sit at, and vice versa. They can go back and forth all day long as far as who's going to win on being the weighing in, deciding factor of decision making. The problem with the emotional brain is that it is fickle and it is so temporary, and what's right for you in one moment can change with the next emotion. So you can end up feeling like you're scattered and you're flaky and you're all over the place, and you just can't get a sense of feeling really settled in the decisions that you're going to make, because also the emotional brain is very reactive. So this whole idea of just follow your heart in business and in love, it's bullshit, because it will lead you astray every time, because it doesn't account for the other parts of the brain or your gut instinct going forward, and it really is temporary. So it can lead you down this scattered path of distress and high emotional reactivity, and just a sense of not really feeling like you've got yourself together. So that will lead you to places of high anxiety or high depression. And if they're not balanced with the other parts of the brain, that is probably the quickest path to distress. The reactivity and the overwhelm that the emotional brain will give us, it goes right into fight or flight response. So you're not going to make the best decisions when you're just following your heart every moment to the next. The real benefit of kind of knowing how the nervous system works and how the brain functions together is that you can take information from both of these centers and then start to integrate it into your nervous system. The language of the nervous system is the felt sense, which means you have to get into your body if you're going to make a good decision. Beyond that, it really is psychophysiological in the sense that our brain connects directly to our gut through the gut-brain axis, and in fact through the entire body from the vagus nerve. So it goes down and innervates the heart and lungs, and it goes down and innervates the gut. That's why having a healthy gut is really so foundational for all of your mental and emotional health and well-being, because it's all connected. The gut is really called the second brain. So everything works together. If you're not tapping into your gut, and that means really feeling how these decisions sit in your physical body. If you don't ever go through and hang out in your physical body to see what's happening when you're trying on different decisions, you're missing really the part of your brain that has the most wisdom. It's not just there to keep you alive, but it will do that because it is constantly scanning for threat. But it does look at how to align the other parts of your brain. It can take information from all of them and come to a really concrete, grounded decision. You're going to know you make the right decision when you try on different variables and you imagine them in detail in your mind. Again, that's key, the detail and the outcome. And check in with how it feels in your physical body. Stop thinking about it. Stop feeling it emotionally and feel it physically, because that's where you're going to get a grounded, centered response. There's exercises that we do in session that I can guide you through how to come to clarity on some of these big decisions with some visualization work. But even in your own process, take information and identify which part of your brain it's coming from, and then put it all together. Try on some outcomes and variables and check in with your gut where it actually feels in your body. If you're making a decision and it's making you feel anxious and it's making you feel upset and it's making you feel frazzled and out of control, it's not the right decision. Again, if it doesn't make sense on paper, if it's completely illogical, also not the right decision. You want a funneling of both of those contexts that come together and feel right in your gut. There is a rightness, and there is a sense of, no matter how activating change can be and is for all of us, there's a sense that you can move forward with confidence. And there's this inner voice that says, oh, this is right. That's what you're looking for in every decision that you make, but especially the big ones from your life. You want to integrate your whole nervous system. You want to come from a grounded space, because otherwise you're going to be thrown off by all of the unknown things that are going to come at you to try and deviate you off course. So this is a way that you can find this place in your body. You can come back to it when you need to, when other things want to distract you or throw you off, or when you have setbacks. You come back to a place of what feels right from your gut, because that integrates, the nervous system integrates all the rest of the parts of your brain. This is how you make whole brain decisions in your life that are going to be solid. You're going to have a lot less regret if you start practicing these techniques. So try that out. Let me know how it goes, and I'll catch you next time.